This is for grade 11's live session 5. Today's topic is answer discussion of the study bag number 2. So let's go to the first question. That is, mention the types of mirrors. The mirrors we divide into two. Basically, there are two types of mirrors. What are they? Plane mirrors and curved mirrors. And these curved mirrors, again, we divide it into two. They are convex mirrors and concave mirrors. Shown here is the division, the classification of mirrors. So what is the answer for this question is plane mirrors, convex mirrors, concave mirrors. Or in another way you can write plane mirrors, curved mirrors. Curved mirrors, there are two types, convex mirrors and concave mirrors. So how to draw the diagrams of them? You see the plane mirror, right? Mirrors, basically you take one side is the reflecting surface, the other side is the covered surface. It is covered up, shaded up. So only one side the light could be incident and reflected. So according to this diagram, left side, along the left side light incidence. Okay, so the right side of the diagram given here, that is shaded, and this is the diagram that we draw for plane mirror. And convex mirror, you see it is curved outward. It is curved outward. And concave mirror, you see it is curved inward. It is curved inward, and this is how we take the mirrors. And convex mirror and concave mirror, you can exactly get the idea about them when you are taking a spoon. It does have two surfaces. One is the inner surface, the other one is the outer surface. Okay, so when you take this spoon, the inner surface, you can see that inner surface, this gives you a concave mirror. It gives you a surface of concave mirror. The outer surface, this is curved outward, and that gives you a surface for convex mirror. So now you compare your spoon with the diagram given there. Convex mirror is the outer reflecting surface, concave mirror is the inner reflecting surface. Okay, and when you are looking at your face through the spoon, even there you can see different images will be formed. Okay, different images will be formed when you are using both convex and concave. And our second question is, what is meant by reflection of light? And that is the first question, part 2. So what is this reflection of light? A light ray being incident on a surface. A light ray being incident on a surface, turning back, bouncing back, will be moving into the same medium in the opposite direction. So we can write it as the process of light rays being incident from one medium and bouncing back to the same medium is known as reflection of light. You can see an example given here. The light beam given by a torchlight being incident on a surface, it is reflecting back. And when it is incident and reflecting back, there will be two angles formed, the angle of incidence and the angle of reflection. So the next question I am taking, define the following terms. So some terms related with these ray diagrams are what we are going to take. The first word is incident ray. So what is this incident ray? Incident ray is the ray, the light ray, which is being incident on the reflecting surface. And at the point where it is being incident is what we term as the point of incidence. Accordingly, you read there, the ray that is incident on point of incidence of the reflecting surface of the mirror is known as the incident ray. And the second word is point of incidence. So what is this point of incidence? That is the point. Okay, that is the point where the light ray will be incident and reflecting from the surface. And this point will be drawn on, it will be marked on the reflecting surface, and that is the point where the normal will also be imaginary drawn. Accordingly, the point of incident is the point on the reflecting surface of the mirror where the light ray incidents and reflects from is known as the point of incidence. That's the second word. And our third word is reflected ray. The ray that is reflected from the point of incidence of the reflecting surface of the mirror is known as reflected ray. And the fourth word, the normal, the imaginary line drawn perpendicular to the mirror at the point of incidence is known as the normal. For the surface of the mirror, we draw a line vertically, and that is at the point of incidence. This is what we term as normal. So we'll go to the next question now. Number 2, state the laws of reflection of light. State the laws of reflection of light. So there are two laws. What are the two laws? First law says you that the incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal at the point of incidence lie on the same plane. That is something like when you are taking all three fingers like this, the incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal at the point of incidence, all three will be on the same plane. Okay, that is the first law of reflection of light. And the second law says that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. Incident angle is equal to reflected angle, and that is I equals R. Both the laws are shown in your diagram. You can see here. Incident ray, reflected ray, and the normal lie on the same plane. And angle of incidence I and the angle of reflection R, it's equal to each other. I equals R. So these are the two laws of reflection of light. So number 3, draw a ray diagram to show how reflection of light is taken place by a plane mirror and name. So now we are going to take a plane mirror. So on this plane mirror, I'm going to give the incident ray. You can see AB is the incident ray being incident on a plane mirror. Plane mirror is MN. And what is this BX? That is the imaginary line drawn perpendicular to the surface, and that is called as BX normal. So the reflection will be in this way. You see there, BC is the reflected ray. You can name them too. So next we are going for part 2. Mention the characteristics of the image formed by a plane mirror. You see here, this is an image diagram, a ray diagram I have given for you. So according to this, what are the characteristics of the image formed by a plane mirror? O is the point object and the image formed is I. When this image is formed, just imagine you are standing in front of a plane mirror. You can see what is your height will be the height of the image. That means the object size is equal to the image size. And what is the distance between you and the mirror will be equal to the distance of the image and the mirror too. So that is object distance is equal to image distance. At the same time, there will be an upright image. Upright means if you are standing, the image will be also standing on feet. It won't be upright down. So the image, when we take, whether it is as a real or virtual, that is a virtual image that cannot be taken onto a screen. So accordingly, what are the characteristics here? All images formed by plane mirrors are virtual. They are inverted images, and object distance is equal to image distance. Object size is equal to image size. Images are laterally inverted. So these are the characteristics of the image formed by plane mirror. So let me go to the next question now. Number 3. An object is placed 5 centimeters away from a plane mirror. The height of the object is 8 centimeters. Okay, what is the height of the object? 8 centimeters. And what is the object distance? 5 centimeters. So the question asks you what is the height of the image and what is the image distance. So how to draw? Look at the steps here. First, I am drawing the plane mirror, right? So on the plane mirror, I'm going to mark you the perpendicular, that the principal axis here, right, where we are keeping the object. So now at 5 centimeter distance, why I have taken the distance in this side? Because you can see that is the reflecting surface side. Okay. So 5 centimeter distance, I'm drawing an object. That the object is 8 centimeter. We have almost reduced the characteristic. Object size is equal to the image size. Object distance is equal to the image distance. Accordingly, at 5 centimeter image distance, there will be an image form, and that is also 8 centimeters. And actually, this is not a complete ray diagram. It is because of the question doesn't ask you to draw the ray diagram. It asks you only what is the height and what is the image distance. So one more thing you can concern here, I have taken the image in dotted forms. Why is that? That is a virtual image. So the first answer is the height of the image 8 centimeter. The image distance is 5 centimeters. Question number 3, part 4. State the uses of plane mirrors. Used in beauty salons and to watch one's own face for dressing, okay, for beautifying himself or herself or whatever. In shops to show the number of items in that you could have seen in the shops, multi-complexes and all. It seems to be like a large amount of object goods are there, but when you go closer, you can see that is because of a mirror. To reflect light for laboratory activities, during laboratory activities, to reflect the light also we are using that. To produce multiple images. So to give multiple images also we are using that in certain instances. To observe the shape and the backside of costumes when selecting items for fashion activity. To observe backside of the head when one is having a haircut in a salon. So accordingly, these are the uses of plane mirrors. So we'll go to the next one. Write the formula to show the relationship between number of images and the angle between two mirrors when multiple images are formed. You know, when we are using one plane mirror, only one image we can see. If we are using two plane mirrors in an angle, they have been placed in an angle, then there will be multiple images formed, more images formed. It depends on the angle we keep both the mirrors. So accordingly, what is the formula here? Number of images formed equal 360 degree dividing by angle between the two mirrors and minus 1. Two mirrors have been kept closer to each other without a gap and in an angle. The angle I'm going to take as theta. Accordingly, I can write number of images formed equal 360 degree dividing by theta minus 1. So this is the formula that we use. The question is the angle between two plane mirrors is 30 degrees. Find the number of images formed. So now we have learned what is the formula to be used. That is number of images equal 360 degree dividing by the angle between two mirrors minus 1. What is the angle between these two mirrors? 30. That means it should be 360 dividing by 30 minus 1. 12 minus 1, that is equal to 11. That means how many multiple images are formed? 11 images formed. So the next question is, how many images are formed if the two mirrors are in parallel positions? That is infinite. That is because of, it is something like object becomes the image for one plane mirror, that becomes the object for the second plane mirror, and that image becomes the object for the first plane mirror. So like that, one after another, it becomes parallel. So accordingly, an infinite number of images will be formed. So that is our answer here. So let's go to the next question. Draw a ray diagram to show the reflection of light beam by a concave mirror. Concave mirror, we said, that is inward curve. So I'm taking the axis first, and this is the concave mirror, inwardly curved. I'm going to take three parallel rays. They are the incident rays. When we take the concave mirrors, they are converging. The basic idea is if a ray comes along the principal axis, you can see it will be reflected back along the principal axis. And the other rays which come parallel, they will be converging to a point. They will be converging to a point. Accordingly, concave mirrors, we are discussing about the mirrors, not lenses, right? Concave mirrors are said to be converging mirrors. And the point where they are getting pointed converge is what we term as the focal point or the focus. So we are going to discuss the answers for number 6. Draw ray diagrams for following occasion and state the characteristics of the image. Just before we draw these, let me remind you some sort of factors for reflection from concave mirror. Look at the diagram given here. If a ray comes along the principal axis, will be reflected along the principal axis. That is the first point. Along the principal axis, if a ray is incident, along the same principal axis, it will be reflected. And the second one is, if a ray comes parallel to the principal axis, it will be moving along the focus. So that is because of converging mirrors. And the third point, opposite of that, if a ray becomes incident along the focal point, then it will be moving parallel to the principal axis. Okay, moving parallel to the principal axis. Fourth point is, if a ray comes along the center of curvature, P to F, that is the focal length, right? Like that, twice will be the distance from P to C. Center of curvature, that is the center of the curved surface or the spherical mirror, curved mirror that we take. Okay, so along the center of curvature, if there is a ray being incident, will be moving back along the center of curvature. That is because of, though you take the principal axis, or these ray coming along the center of curvature, all of them are like the radials. Why? Because from the center it comes to the circumference of the circle. And the fifth point is, after reflecting back the incident ray and the reflected ray, you take to the normal, I and R will be equal, making the angle of incident equal to the angle of reflection. This incident ray will be reflecting back. So these are the 5 points that we want to concern when we are drawing the diagrams. The first one, A. Object is placed on the principal axis of a concave mirror between focus and the pole. Look at the diagram here. Okay, the object is kept between P and F. Can you see that? Object is kept between P and F. So two rays I am taking. One ray is from the top of the object parallel to the principal axis. Can you see that? This is parallel to the principal axis. Parallel to the principal axis will be moving along the focus. And the second ray is, you can see across the top of the object, I'm taking a ray from where? From the center of curvature. So from the center of curvature, if you are taking a ray, after reflection will be reflecting back along the center of curvature. Okay, so both the rays will not be meeting. You can see they are going away from one another. So accordingly, we can't get a real image here. So what we do, we have to go for the opposite side as to drag it. Now we have drag the lines. You see there, dragging the lines, it will be meeting at one point, and that is the point where the image is formed. So what type of image we are getting here? It is a virtual image. Object and the image you concern, image is virtual and upright, and it is larger than the object. Okay, it is larger than the object. And also when you take this object distance and image distance is longer than the object distance. So accordingly, these are the characteristics given. Virtual image, upright image, image is larger than the object, image distance is longer than the object distance. Behind the mirror, image will be formed. Next question, part B. Object is placed on the principal axis of a concave mirror on the focus. You see now, this is the ray diagram we are giving. Object is placed on the focal point. Focal point, same way we are going to take two rays, right? We are going to take two rays. What are the two rays here? That is, you see there, one ray parallel to the principal axis from the top of the object, it goes reflected along the focus. That is a common theory, right? Parallel light rays will be reflecting back along the focus. And the second ray we are taking from the center of curvature, you see, after reflection, it goes along the center of curvature. So these two, you can see, they will not meet again since they are going parallel. Okay, so there will not be any real images formed. So let me go for the next side. If it is parallel in one side, the other side would be also parallel. So parallel in the sense there won't be a virtual image to form. So there is no images formed as real or virtual. So what is the characteristic we have to write? The only characteristic is it is an infinite image. So the next one I'm going to take, object is placed on the principal axis of a concave mirror between the focus and the center. You see now there, okay, the object is kept between F and C. The object is kept between F and C. Okay. So between the F and C, when we are keeping this object, there will be a light ray moving along the surface. That means parallel to the principal axis. It will be reflecting back along the focal point. And another ray I'm taking from center. So all we can see here, one ray I'm taking parallel to the principal axis, and the other ray I'm taking from the center of curvature. Center of curvature will be reflecting that. So both you can see they are meeting at one point. They're meeting at one point soon after the reflection. So soon after the reflection, if they are meeting at one point, means that becomes the focal point. What is the image formed here? That is an inverted image and a real image. So accordingly, what are the characteristics here? It is a real image, inverted image. Image is larger than the object. That's correct, right? Image is larger than the object. Image distance is longer than the object distance. Is it correct? Image distance is longer than the object distance. Beyond C, the image will be formed up. So these are the characteristics of the image. Let me go for the next one. It's D, but I'm not taking part D here because in between C and D, there is another occasion. That occasion is what I'm taking. That is, you see there, object is placed on the principal axis of a concave mirror on the center. Can you see that center of curvature we have kept the object? When we are keeping the object on the center of curvature, again two rays I am taking, one parallel. Parallel will be moving along the focal point. Parallel will be moving along the focal point. And the other one I am taking, okay, since it is kept on the center of curvature, I am going to take it from the top of the object along the focal point. So along the focal point, when it's moving on, it should be moving, it should be reflecting back parallel. Did you understand that? One ray from the top of the object parallel to the principal axis will be reflecting along the focal point. The other ray, since the object is on the center of curvature, from the top of the object, I'm taking it along the focal point. And it will be also reflected back. You see there, both the rays are getting met, intersected in a real point. So the image will be formed there, which is inverted and equal to object size. Accordingly, these are the characteristics. You see there, real image, inverted image, image size is equal to the object size, image distance is equal to the object distance. So now let me take D. Object is placed on the principal axis of a concave mirror beyond the center. Look at the diagram given here. The object is placed beyond the mirror. The object is placed beyond the mirror, that is beyond the point C2. You see there, object when it is kept on, the two rays I'm taking, one is from the top of the object, parallel. It goes along the focal point. And the other one I'm taking along the center of curvature. Now, from the center of curvature, I can't take it because the object is away from the center of curvature. So, along the center of curvature, across the center of curvature, I'm sending the incident ray. and after reflection, okay, after reflection, it comes across the center of curvature. So you see there now, both these reflected rays, can you see the first reflected ray here and the second reflected ray, both of them have met at this point. So this is the point where the image will be formed, and this image is a real image and an inverted image, and it is smaller than the object and shorter than the object distance too. Accordingly, characteristics are real image, inverted image, image is smaller than the object, image distance is shorter than the object distance, and it is between F and C. So these are the characteristics of the image form. So let me take the next one. Object is placed on the infinity of a concave mirror. So here the principal axis I have given you with the concave mirror. The incident ray is given there, and you can see from infinity, the object is from infinity. From infinity it comes on, okay. After it is incident on, what it does, it moves towards the focal point, making the image on the focal point. You can see now, after being incident, it moves towards the focal point as to make the object on the focal point. So let me take, if I'm taking a dot object, a point object, then these reflected rays straightly I can take to the focal point on the principal axis. Did you understand that? If I'm taking the object is a point one, a dot object, then straightly after reflection, I can take the reflected rays focused on the focal point here to make the object focused on the focal point as the image. But here I consider the object as having a height, so that I have kept a gap between the parallel rays too. Okay. Now it will be giving you the image inverted on the focal point. So this is the point where the image is formed. You see there, it is formed on the focal point. And what are the characteristics here? It is a real image, inverted image, image is smaller than the object. Okay, always you'll be getting a smaller object from an infinite. Image distance is too shorter than the object distance because the object comes from infinity. Fine. So let me take the next one now. That is question number 7. State the uses of concave mirror. What are the uses of concave mirror? Look at this. As mirrors used for shaving, applying the cosmetics and all. For dentists to examine teeth of patients, right? You could have observed, you could have experienced this also, few of you. For dentists to examine teeth of patients also, they are using this concave mirror. And in car headlights, headlights of the cars also, and used in reflecting telescopes. Telescopes, they are the reflecting surfaces to be used concave mirrors. As reflector mirrors in torchlights, flashlights you could have touched up with, right? As reflector mirrors in torchlights also we are using, and then as reflector mirrors in flashlights, as reflector mirrors in searchlights, spotlights, searchlights are there, and also to construct solar cookers. To make burning mirrors also we are using these concave mirrors. So let me take the next one. Draw a ray diagram to show the reflection of light beam by a convex mirror. So the principal axis I have taken, you can see this is a convex mirror, right? On the convex mirror, again I'm going to take 3 parallel light rays. Okay, convex mirrors are diverging mirrors. That means after reflection, the mirror will be diverging the rays. The ray which comes along the principal axis will be moving, will be reflecting back along the principal axis. That's correct, right? And the other two are, seems to be like starting from a point behind the mirror. So this is behind the mirror, right? Behind the shaded part, right? So behind the mirror, from a point, it seems to be like starting from, and then it moves diverge. Can you see that? The rays, both the rays I have taken in dotted lines, virtual, will be continuously moving in real view. So these are the diverging rays that we are taking. So you see, these diverging rays will not be meeting. So there won't be a real image form. And where the virtual image form, then according to this diagram, it will be on the focal point or the focus, and that is what I have taken as capital F here. So this is the ray diagram we used to show the reflection of light beam by a convex mirror. So you may be having a question, why do I want to take this 3 parallel light or 3 or 4 or whatever? That is because of, it says your reflection of a light beam. Light beam is made up of light rays. Is it clear? One light beam is made up of a collection of light rays. So we take 2 or more light rays to show up light beams. So let me take part 2. Before that, there are some concepts of reflection from convex mirror. If there is a ray, comes along the principal axis, from a convex mirror, it moves back, it reflects back along the principal axis. That's the first point here. And the second point is, if a light ray comes parallel to the principal axis, it moves diverging. Concave mirror, we said, that will be converging to the focal point in this way, and convex mirror, we say, it will be seems to be starting from one point and diverging away. So this is the second point. And the third point is, if a light ray comes towards the focal point, okay, if a light ray comes towards the focal point, after bouncing back, it moves parallel to, it reflects parallel to the principal axis. So you see here, earlier we said, if a light ray comes parallel, will be reflecting from the focal point. Now it comes towards the focal point, it moves, it reflects parallel to the principal axis. And the fourth point is, you see here, if it comes towards the center of curvature, it moves away from the center of curvature. You can see all these lines are given a virtual because that is behind the mirror. So these are the 4 points that we are going to take, and not like in concave mirror, convex mirror gives you only one sort of image diagram. Concave mirror, depending on the object place, it will be different. But here only one. That is, an object is placed in front of a convex mirror on the principal axis. Draw a ray diagram to show how image is formed and state the characteristics. So you see there, the object is kept in front of the convex mirror. One ray diagram I'm taking, that is from the top of the object, it moves away, and the other also towards the center of curvature. So I'm completing that. You see, towards the center of curvature, it goes in this way to the point C, and the first ray, it comes towards the focal point. And both these are behind the mirror, they are virtual. So since they are virtual, what you do, you can see the other side, the real rays are not meeting together. Accordingly, the point where the virtual rays are meeting, intersecting, that is the point we have to take the image, and that is a virtual image. And this should be shown in dotted image too. So please mark it when you are drawing. The image should be in dotted lines. Okay, not a continuous line as shown here. That should be a dotted line. What are the characteristics? Virtual image, upright image, image is smaller than the object, image distance is shorter than the object distance. Behind the mirror, between P and F, the image will be formed up. So these are the characteristics of the image formed. So let's go to the next one. State the uses of a convex mirror. As side of view mirrors, rear mirrors in cars, vans, the vehicles, the side mirrors you take, that is a convex mirror. And as indoor dome mirrors, in complexes, supermarkets and all, even in the companies, factories, you could have seen there will be a mirror attached to the roof surface, indoor. So that is to completely have a focusing over the area inside. And also outdoor also we are using, and even as mirrors in street lamps. The street lamps also, they do have the convex mirrors. As side view rear mirrors in cars, as indoor dome mirrors, as mirrors in street lamps, and as anti-theft mirrors for security. For security purposes also, you could have seen them in the supermarkets, super complexes, and all multi-complexes, and all even in the pharmacies. And as traffic convex mirrors too, in certain areas you could have seen this on the streets, roads also. So this is for traffic controlling, so that the people in one side can see the vehicles coming from the other side. So as traffic convex mirrors also, we are using this convex mirror. So these are the uses. Last question, that is, only parabolic reflectors are capable of producing a parallel beam of light from a small filament bulb placed at the focus of the mirror. Draw a ray diagram to show these. So what is this parabolic reflectors? That is something like a circle. When you are dragging, when you are pulling, it becomes an oval, right? Same way, these mirrors, it is it's produced in that way to make it parabolic, something like this. Can you see that? Now let me take some parallel light rays. You see here, when I am taking the parallel light rays here, this point I am going to start up with. This is the point where the light rays are emitted out. Okay, that is the point where the light rays are emitted out. Just imagine of a filament bulb of a torchlight. You could have seen this surface inner to the torchlight, the parabolic reflector. So this is the point where the filament bulb will be placed, and the light will be emitted from this point. After being incident on this parabolic reflector, they will be reflecting, all being parallel to each other, and that is how a torch light beam will be formed. Okay, even a searchlight, spotlight beam will be formed parallelly, that will be formed up. That is because of parabolic reflectors are what used here. Okay, and this is also a concave mirror. This is also sort of concave mirror. So this should be the diagram. So when you are drawing this, make sure that from the point the rays being emitted, they are the incident rays. You show the arrow in that way, and which are going parallel to each other, which are moving parallel to each other, they are the reflected rays. So this is the last answer for our questions. So we hope that everyone, you have got the answers for these grade 11 study pack number 2.
To get notified about our next videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel Science with Anas Mahideen.